Everyone, it's Lori in the library. I want to share with you right now March, and I know we're already almost halfway through March. Boy, has it been going fast. Warm weather helps, doesn't it? March is Women's History Month. So last month was Black History Month. This month is Women's History Month, and there are displays out in both East and West that have some books about some amazing women and some of the things that they did. But I thought I would just today highlight four of those books for you, just so you can kind of get a taste of what books that we have. I hope you come in and check these out, and I hope that you want to do some reading and see some of the great things that women have done throughout history. The first one we have, and I know a lot of you love this series, the Who Was and the Who Is and the What Was and the What Is series. And this one is Who Was Sally Ride. And she was the first American woman astronaut to fly into space. So it tells about her life and how she got to where she was. So it's kind of you might have heard her name, you might know a little bit about her, but this will give you information about her life and how she became an astronaut and some of the things that she was able to do. We have some other Who Was and Who Is books that are on some different strong women. Malala, I know we have one on her, and I believe we have one like on Eleanor Roosevelt and Helen Keller. I think we have, so we have several of the Who Is and the Who Was that would be good for Women's History Month. The next one we have is a nonfiction book. Look at the cover of that. Isn't that fun? Look at that. Girls Think of Everything, Stories of Ingenious Inventions by Women. So this is a fun book to look at if you want to know some of the things that were invented by women. And it has at the beginning kind of a cool thing, if I can get the page to open up here. It has a timeline going through from 3000 BC to 1943, some of the different things that were invented by women. And then it shows, as you go through, some of the different things like liquid paper, for those of you that know what that is, Scotchgard, some of you might not know what that is, the Snuggly, Kevlar, bulletproof vest, windshield wipers. Did you know that? So an interesting book if you want to know some of the inventions that were started by women. This next one, Fly Girls, How 5 Daring Women Defied All Odds and Made Aviation History. So this talks about 5 different women that really broke the mold and broke barriers for getting women into aviation. And of course, one of them is Amelia Earhart. We all know about her, but you may not know about these other women, and you might want to, if you want to learn more about that, that would be a great one. It is nonfiction. It's in our narrative nonfiction section. And again, I know we have this one at East, West. If we don't have it and you're interested, for sure, we can get it sent over to you. So definitely an interesting book there. The last one is a book that I've been reading, and it is fantastic. This is called The Radium Girls, and this takes place back in by World War II, before, a little bit before that, and things like that. Radium is for those, scientific one. It glows in the dark, and it's super cool, but it's also super dangerous. But at the time, they didn't know this. They knew it killed cancer cells, and they thought, well, that's cool. If it attacks bad stuff like that, it must, help us get rid of other bad stuff. And so they would hire these girls, and they used radium paint. And they would paint things like watch dials, and then they also painted like dials for like airplanes, so like in the military, so they could see them at night. But what these girls did is they licked the paintbrush to make fine points and then painted. So they were ingesting amounts of radium all day long, and they were covered in it. Like they would glow when they would go in the dark because of all this radium, which was cool. But it was really, really hurting them. And they didn't know it until later. And they got very, very sick. And they tried to get compensation, but people wouldn't believe them. Or, basically they were just women. It didn't matter as much and things like that. So this is The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. Super interesting book. huge part of history that I wasn't aware of until I started seeing the book and started reading about it. So might be one you want to check out. It is a thicker book, I will warn you, so it does take a little bit to get through. There is an adult version of it. This is the young readers version of it. So this is better for the middle school students. So anyway, those are a few books that I have out for Women's History Month. There are others on display. There's some about the WNBA. There's some about the World Cup soccer team. So we have some of those as well. It's not, just science, but also sports and just some other very strong women that have made a big impact throughout the course of history. I hope you'll come on into the Media Center and check some of these out.